Welcome to yet another episode of the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, a series of conversations with CXOs and business leaders over chai or coffee, if that's your preference, brought to you by ETH. The urgency and pressure on business leaders as they navigated successive waves of the COVID-19 pandemic was immense, to say the least. These business leaders had to dynamically monitor myriad ways to ensure that their respective companies stayed on course in the new normal. The incredible demands placed on them makes us often wonder how they had time for family, hobbies, or any downtime at a personal level. And let's not forget that they are mere mortals. This initiative by ETH is aimed at creating a deeper connection with them by getting a glimpse into their personal and professional journey thus far, finding out what makes them tick, understand their views on life, leadership, and also get a sense of what their passions and causes that are dear to them are, and what they do to unwind and recharge when they are not in business mode. It is said that one conversation can change the direction of life forever. It is also said that there is nothing better than a cup of tea to get you going. So grab your cup of tea and join me, Ivan Rodrigues, for a very exciting cutting chai conversation. Today, it's my pleasure to host Rachana Panda, Vice President and Country Group Head, Communications, Public Affairs, and Sustainability for South Asia at Bayer. Rachana, welcome to the ET Cutting Chai Stories.
Thank you so much, Ivan. I mean, it's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It's our pleasure to host you. Okay, so let me kick off this conversation, Rachana, by, I talked about COVID in the prelude to this conversation. So my first question for you is pre-COVID to post-COVID, and I don't know if there is another wave, I hope there isn't. Has your approach towards life, family, and the community changed? And also, has your leadership style changed in any way?
Thank you. I think it's a great question. I think COVID has changed all of us. All of us, I think in some way or the other, have gone through some sort of a pain. And I believe that pain changes everything. Yes. Right? The way we look at life, and it also gave us a lot of time to reflect as organizations, as individuals, as leaders. And I think that's something that each one of us can talk about in their own journeys, right? Yeah, for me, I think COVID was the way we connect with people is something that definitely changed. That was a time that I think we connected back to almost all our friends and family. So that's the first takeaway for me. I mean, connections, yes. Connect back to the roots, reach out. That's one thing. Second, as organizations, I think as leaders, the responsibility and the accountability of our teams and employees squarely fell on people managers. That's how I would put it. And organizations went out of the way. That was a test for every organization in terms of going out of the way to helping not only their employees, but even communities. So connecting and becoming responsible beyond just work for your employees' well-being is something that we all take away, and purely, I also did that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anything new that you did during that phase in terms of an activity, the 2 years that we were more or less under lockdown, that you'd like to share with us, something that you hadn't done before?
Yeah, first of all, I joined my company. I mean, I joined my new job during COVID. Right. So my entire process of interview plus induction, everything was through virtual mode. So almost 8 to 9 months, I hadn't met anybody on my organization, wow, including my CEO and leader. So that was a very different thing. I never done something like that. Initially, it was okay, but after some time, I was very, very restless.
Yes.
But I guess the company like Bayer, it has its own ways of getting us into the system. It was fantastic. fantastic. And the induction was wonderful. I met my team. So it was very, very different.
Right.
And engaging, building trust with the team, with the employees, with the colleagues was a difficult one though, right? And nothing can beat physical presence and meeting one-to-one. But I took a lot of time, that time, to read, to understand people, to read about the company, to get to know about the company. And so that's really helped. By the time I met them, which was around 8 to 9 months later, I actually felt very comfortable. So that was something very new. The second thing was also jumping directly into work. Right, there was a lot of work in terms of community service that was being done through our CSR programs. We were looking at supplying oxygen cylinders to different, to the needy, not only to the employees, but also beyond.
Sure.
Also working with different governments at the state level to build, temporary hospitals and beds. That was something that we did differently. I think there was a lot of work which was done around CSR.
Yes.
And I got to learn and also jump into it right away. So that was, again, big takeaway for me. The third thing I would say is, as I said, connecting with, the apartment areas, the friends, the community at an individual level. Also, I hadn't ever thought that I would do so much and could do so much, I would say.
Right.
That's something that I learned, and everybody was out there. The appreciation and gratitude, these are two things that I think I take away from those days.
Wonderful. Wonderful. What a lovely note to start this cutting chai conversation with. Okay, let's go down memory lane, Rachana. If you were to go back to the early years of your childhood, school, or later college, could you let us know about any positive influences or incidents that contributed towards shaping your foundation in those formative years?
So many of them, Ivan. So I was born in Delhi, but we moved to Assam, to Guwahati. So I did my schooling in Guwahati. Till today, I have a very, very soft corner for everything to do with Northeast. My father was in the tea gardens, and they had their own Cessnas, so which means he was in the aviation. He was a senior advisor to one of the British tea garden, tea estate companies. And I had a lovely, lovely childhood with very close to nature, very close to everything organic, I guess,
yes.
And very natural. So that influence and the respect, the value to sustainability and the value for nature is something that I pick up from there. The second thing, in terms of, I had two brothers, elder brothers. I have two elder brothers, and I was the youngest in the family. But my father was extremely particular about education and giving equal rights to both, both my brothers and me. There was nothing, never did I ever feel that I was a girl and I was treated differently. In fact, I was always surrounded with, strong women and strong men who would believe in equality and equity. So I think that is, again, I would say, something that I picked up from there. From there to now, I have put a lot of my effort, time, and thought process in women empowerment. This is something that I very strongly believe. I come in from a family of strong women, and I think that influence is very, very deep inside me.
Wonderful. You talked about your early years in Assam, and you used the word sustainability. I'm going to dive straight into this subject and ask you my first question on sustainability. Why do you think sustainability is such a crucial issue confronting us?
Just to go into a very simple term, we all know as children, we had a better environment than our children. I mean, as simple as that. We ate better. And I'm sure we heard it from our parents that, their time was much, much purer, better, cleaner.
Right.
The very fact that we are living in an environment which is polluted, in an environment which we are struggling to breathe. We all have in our homes air purifiers. Did we ever think of this?
No.
We all are struggling with a health crisis like COVID. We just thinking about, what are we eating? Is there enough food in the world? Are we not struggling about water? There are so many, think about states in our country which
Right.
are struggling with water. These really concern me. And I think as simple as these basic requirements is fundamental right for every citizens across the world, wherever, in whichever bracket they fall. This really bothers me that, we are still struggling, and we will struggle more in the future. Basic need of water, food, health is something that I think we should all be concerned of. And that's the reason why I feel sustainability, I think everybody is talking about it, but I would go as simple as that, as basic needs and basic human rights.
I think you've really explained that very well. I mean, I don't know when we are going to wake up, if we are waking up. I know these things are being discussed, talked, but I don't think enough is being done in this area. So I'm going to get your views on that. How did you get involved with sustainability issues, and how has it impacted your professional outlook?
So from the very first job, as I said, from my childhood, my respect to the environment was something that was instilled in me. Maybe I lived in an environment like that. And from my first job to now, my first job was with Apollo Tires, but we moved and worked in the development sector as well, with British Council, where we're talking about health for women. And then from there to now, I think in every role, I got some chance to be able to work on either the society or the sustainability aspect. And I'm very blessed. The present job is something that I really, really am very excited to work on the sustainability issues, whether it's climate change, whether it is food security, because Bayer is a company which works on 3 different aspects. One is nutrition, and which is on agriculture, crop sciences. Second is on pharmaceuticals, which is health, and consumer health, which is again on self-care, and a lot to do with health. So when you get to work in a company which is at a powerful intersection of nutrition and health, I think you get to do a lot. And also the impact that you can make to such a function is humongous. And I think that is something that I'm able to contribute to sustainability.
Wonderful, wonderful. Staying on the subject of sustainability, Rachana, what, according to you, are the 3 most important issues that need to be addressed immediately?
See, as simple as I said, food is something, food security is the first and topmost for me, right? In terms of everybody in the world, whichever part of the world they are, whichever strata they are in, should be able to have nutritious food. Second, I would say in terms of health, we've gone through a huge health, crisis across the world when we talked about COVID. Basic health facilities, access to affordable health and medicines is something that I feel is the basic right for every human being. Third, which really bothers me, is water. I think we really need to do a lot around water. We know that this sort of a crisis is just on our face. We really need to do something around it. And these are 3 things top. I would also follow it with gender equality. That's something that, again, I think all of us, a lot of is being done. I would accept that a lot is being done, but still a lot more has to be done. So these are 3 or 4 things I would say top of my mind.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you think companies in India can make substantial contribution on the issues of sustainability?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of companies are doing that. A lot of Indian companies, multinationals, a lot of companies in India are working towards it. In fact, most of them. And the regulations and policies are also now getting quite aligned. We know through the investor teams as well that now this is becoming important. ESG is becoming extremely important and has been mandated at some point. The reporting will become mandatory. I think everything is being in the right direction, but we have to keep the momentum and on it, because there is no option in this case.
Absolutely. Okay. Rachana, all of us have a moral compass. I mean, that's the term that is used. It evolves over time. At this point in time, what is your moral compass when it comes to conducting yourself in the personal and professional space?
I don't know. I mean, I've never defined a moral compass for myself, but what I really value in terms of value systems that I would say I would define for myself is integrity is top.
Right.
Right. Integrity brings a lot of credibility into the system. Yes. The second thing I believe in today's time, transparency and access to information is something that I think we as leaders have to be extremely particular about, right? I really like people who are transparent, candid, and can have an open conversation. And I believe that I myself am quite open about things, right? The third thing is diversity. I like to see diversity across in whichever organization I have worked. I prefer to have teams which are diverse. I like to interact with people from different strata, from different aspects, age-wise, state-wise, religion-wise. I love to see diversity in all the work that I've done. So I enjoy the diversity piece.
Wonderful, wonderful. Rachana, there would be a lot of young aspiring leaders who would be watching this Cutting Chai conversation. So my next question to you, and probably there's a link to what you just answered on the moral compass bit. The question is, what advice would you give someone going into a leadership position for the first time?
I don't know if I'm in a position to advise young leaders, but one thing I can say, leadership is a journey. You cannot be perfect. I was never perfect when I started off. I think I'm a better version of myself now than what I was around 20 years or 10 years back, or even 5 years back. So leadership is a journey. Don't be tough on yourself. Learn it. But every leader, I think at the end, has to form or build other leaders. If you're not able to develop and build leaders like you, then I don't think that's the right way. Leadership means it is a tough journey, it's an evolving journey, and means you have to pass the baton at some point to somebody else.
Right. Wonderful, wonderful advice. And you're qualified to do that. What, 26 years of work experience, roughly, Rachana, that you have right now?
Yes.
Yeah. So great, wonderful. May I ask you, how much of a role has luck played a factor in your life? Or has it been just about hard work, qualifications, and experience?
I won't say it. I think everything plays a role. I wouldn't say I was very hardworking. I worked hard. I mean, when I look back, I think I worked hard, but I think luck comes to people who work hard.
Yes.
That's what I believe. Once you start running in a direction, then the road starts becoming clearer. But nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy. Yes, I've had, experience, learning, knowledge, unlearning, relearning, which is the toughest part. A lot of change in the path, lot of losses, lot of letting go. But yes, luck would have played to some extent. But as I said, luck only comes to people who work hard.
Yeah, the harder you work, the luckier you get. One of my previous bosses also mentioned that, he said lots of people say, oh, he's lucky, that's why he got this position, or he's moved up the corporate ladder. And he explained it to me very simply. He said, Ivan, when preparedness meets opportunity, it's termed as luck. Yeah. So there are opportunities that will come everyone's way, but you've got to be prepared at that point in time to take on the mantle. And some people call it luck, but there's nothing that drops from the sky.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing drops from the sky.
Yeah. Rachana, what has been, if I may ask again, your biggest challenge thus far, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, a number of them, I think, as I said, along the way, you lose people. So I lost my parents very early. So that was a tough one.
Okay.
And I had to bounce back. It took a number of years. And those years were very, very tough because I was starting my career and, not having anybody around to bounce ideas, to share successes. That was a tough one. Second was, when you have to let go. Every time, you build a leader within your team or you get into another role, you have to let go. Letting go is a tough one. And I learned the art of letting go. It is very empowering. It is very empowering because it empowers yourself and you know that you're building yourself for the next run. I think that's always a big one. And as leaders, we rarely are able to let go. But I think over the last 2 to 3 years, I've learned the art to let go. And every 3 to 4 years, I would let go. And that I think is very, very empowering, right? That's one challenge I think I've overcome. And I see that not everybody is able to do that. I wish, even the heads of countries and corporates are not able to do that, but that's something that I've learned the hard way. And yes, of course, there have been health challenges that I've gone through, but I think it's strong and straight up there. So yes, there have been enough challenges.
Wow, wonderful. May I ask you if you remember receiving your first salary, and how did you spend the money you received from your very first job?
Yeah. So the first one was my internship. So when you do your MBA, you have to complete an internship in between, right? So that was, I would say, that was my first salary. And I did it with ABB, Asia Brown Boveri, those days. Yeah. It was, I remember that very distinctly. I got 3,000 rupees then. And this was in 94, 95, right?
It's Lisa.
Yeah. So it was a fantastic, assignment. I really feel blessed to be able to work with the top finance guys those days in that company. And the first salary was I bought a watch for my father.
Wow.
And I went but he could never wear it. He wore it, he saw it, and within 7 days he expired. So that was a tough one. But I'm so glad that little bit of joy, that momentary joy, and the thing that I could buy something for him is very clear even in my head, even now. So I feel very happy for that.
Thanks for sharing that with us. Thank you. The final question in this segment, how do you unwind, Rachana? Any interests, hobbies, or activities that you indulge in? And as a follow-up, are there any items on your bucket list that are yet to be fulfilled?
I travel a lot.
Okay.
So I travel locally, globally, and so that's one thing I love doing. Second, I love collecting antiques. So whenever I go to a city, I will pick up stuff and collect those. So my house is full of antiques, a lot of things from different parts of the world. I enjoy a lot and do a lot of stuff around street children. I spend a lot of time. So if you see me going to the Southeast Asian markets or, in countries like ours or, smaller areas, I spend a lot of time with street children and I love playing with them. That's something that is very close to my heart at an individual level.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Any items on your bucket list that are yet to be fulfilled?
Lots of them.
Lots of them.
Lots of them. So I want to travel to Iceland and Alaska.
Yeah.
Right. That's one. I also want to travel to the interiors of the Northeast in India. I've stayed in Assam and traveled quite a bit, but there are still areas that I want to go and explore. So that's something I would want to do. I would want to take a long holiday with my school friends. And we've been planning that for long. And, it's been years, but I think I really want to get everybody together and plan and do that. So that's something very close to my heart.
On behalf of the Economic Times, we wish that all these items on your bucket list are fulfilled sooner rather than later.
Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Great. I'm really enjoying this conversation, Rachana. So what I'd like to do is move next to a fun segment. It's called the one word, one line answer, or this or that choice that I'll throw at you. It's fun. Don't worry, there are no wrong answers. All the answers are right answers because these are your answers. So can we move on to that segment?
Sure, absolutely.
Wonderful. Okay. Kindly choose one of the two, books or movies.
Movies.
Comfortable silences or incredible conversations?
Incredible conversations.
Spirituality or religion?
Spirituality.
Okay. Test the waters or dive into the deep end?
Dive to the deep end.
Nice. Necklaces or bracelets?
Necklaces.
Yeah. Do you prefer cooking or being cooked for?
Being cooked for. I'm lazy. I'm very bad at cooking.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Pani puri or sev puri?
Pani puri.
Nice. Poha or upma?
Upma.
Okay. Dancing. Do you prefer dancing or making others dance?
Dancing.
Nice. Shopping in store or shopping online?
In store.
Nice. What's something that will always be in fashion no matter how much time passes?
Confidence.
Nice. I think you touched upon this earlier. So let me throw this question at you. Would you rather have world peace or stop world hunger?
Stop world hunger first.
Continue with your life as is or restart your life?
Restart my life.
Okay. Now let's see how you answer this one. If you were to be stuck in a room for 24 hours, whom would you choose to be stuck with? I'll give you 4 options. Kindly choose one. Indra Nooyi, Bill Gates, Amitabh Bachchan, or Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw?
That's a tough one.
I know.
Amitabh Bachchan.
I've done some research on you, Rachana. So I
said
I have to pose this question to you with a tough choice.
I know Kiran Mazumdar is somebody I really look up to, but on this one with Amitabh Bachchan in the choice list, I don't think I could go to anybody else.
Really? Wow, you stumped me. I thought it would be Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw or Indra Nooyi, but wow, that's wonderful. I'm glad I put that choice there for you. Great. If you could start a charity, what would it be for?
Feed children.
If you could eliminate one food item so that no one would eat it ever again, what would you pick to destroy?
It's a tough one, but I'm trying to do it myself. I have a sweet tooth, but I'm trying to do away with refined sugar.
Ah, okay.
White sugar, basically.
White sugar, yeah. Complete the sentence. I have a dream that. Complete the sentence. I have a dream that.
No one sleeps hungry in the world.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Nobody can stop me from
doing something that I've decided.
Life is incomplete without
friends.
Nice. Rachana, I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I'm reminded of a couple of quotes, having talked to you for about 25 minutes. You remind me of this quote by Walt Disney, where he said that the best way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. And I think you're an epitome of that in the 25 minutes that I've interacted with you. That's the vibe that I got also from your answers. And I don't know whom the next quote is attributed to. It's anonymous. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. And you also talked about leaders in my question on leadership. So there is this other quote which goes as true leaders don't create more followers, they create more leaders. And I can see you having done that. You talked about passing the baton, of letting go, and I think you will continue to do that and create more leaders, and that's what we want. So Rachana, I had a wonderful time chatting with you, ladies and gentlemen. That was Rachana Panda, Vice President and Country Group Head Communications, Public Affairs and Sustainability for South Asia at Bayer. On behalf of the Economic Times, Rachana, we wish you, your family and your organization the very best going forward.
Thank you so much, Ivan. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you.